Good day, dear colleagues. Today I present our report on accurate extraction of human gait patterns using motion interpolation. Gait-based human recognition is a promising biometric modality for automatic visual surveillance. Over the past 3 decades, human gait has been the subject of permanent research based on video sequences of varying resolution, scale and duration. The range of distinct features expands when various physical devices are used to capture data about gait cycle. However, the use of single camera remains the main technical solution in many surveillance and recognition tasks. This study aims to improve the extraction of human gait patterns using novel approach to motion interpolation based on optical flow and deep learning techniques. Interpolating optical flow maps provide more information than the binary silhouette technique does. This allows to better recognition results. We obtain good experimental results for silhouette representations, especially for low-frequency test videos. The proposed technique is useful for constructing a gait model of individual at the training stage. Here you see the agenda of the report. Various psychological and behavioral characteristics can be used to recognize a person, including face, iris, fingerprints, palm print, veins, DNA, gait, voice, typing rhythm, and signature. Gait as a walking style is a well-recognized biometric modality that operates at a distance, and at the same time gait features are difficult to hide or spoof. Vision-based approach is a broad area of research focusing on robust gait representation that is invariant to clothing styles, carrying objects, weaving angles, age, gender, walk speed, footwear, time duration between two recordings, injuries, and even emotions. Sensor-based approach uses variable sensors such as accelerometer and gyroscope attached to the human body and floor sensors, which typically receive footprints information for medical purpose. However, one of the simplest ways is to obtain gait information captured by conventional indoor and outdoor CCTV cameras. The physical length of body parts and current motor skills from a person's gait style. The gait cycle includes two periods, is the stance, when the foot is touching the ground, and swing, when the limb is moving through the air, with 60 and 30% duration of the gait cycle, respectively. Gait style means not only stride length and walking speed, but also the way of 3D movement of torso, swinging of the arms and head position. In other words, all parts of the body are involved in walking, and all global and local features must be taken into account. The model-based methods create the structure of the human body and construct the features of various parts of the body based on motion information. Formally, the model-based methods are divided on the structural models and motion models. On the other hand, the model-free methods, including template creation, shape analysis, and spatial-temporal representation, extract gait features directly from video sequences without building any structural model. A figure in this slide shows an example of silhouette-based gait representation framework known as energy image. Skeleton models are based on the detection of joints between body parts. Many deep learning models are currently proposed for both model-based and model-free gait recognition techniques. Detailed information about deep learning model can be found in the paper. Our contribution is to improve the quality and quantity of the original video data using motion interpolation based on optical flow analysis. We can augment the data and additionally find the features of a person's internal movement, especially for complex cases. Moreover, inaccurate segmentation of the human body against the background in the wild negatively affects the recognition accuracy, and optical flow analysis helps to solve the problem. The proposed method consists of two stages. First is determination of the estimate of optical flow, and second is send depth and motion interpolation. As such, to extract optical flow from gait videos, the light flow net free architecture was used. Cascaded flow interference model outputs useful information from each layer of two neural networks. Each of these layers has a feature deformation layer for displacing feature maps of the second image towards the first image using the flow estimate at a previous level. The rest of the flow is calculated to get a more accurate results between pixels. This scheme, using intermediate information for subsequent computations, resembles schemes using LSTM, long short-term memory cells. Cascaded flow inference corrects a flow error earlier without passing the accumulated error to the next level. Monocular images do not contain explicit distance information, and various approaches try to find some objective cues. One of such cues is depth from motion, which can be determined from consecutive frames. Experiments show that a recurrent CNN is efficient for generating the depth maps based on the depth from motion and interpolating frames at motion boundaries. As a prototype, we used the RCNN architecture presented in the figure and modified it for our tasks. Region CNN has an M.coder architecture composed of an encoder E layers, bottleneck layer, and decoder D layers. Some layers are enforced by GRUD cells, which have the same or better performance than LSTM cells, but are easier to implement and train. The encoder reduces the size of the layer outputs. Thus, the transpose reshaping is added to some layer of decoder in order to increase the output size and avoid artifact in the output images. Thus, overlaying optical flow and send depth maps allows to detect foreground moving objects instead of creating silence maps. In addition, optical flow maps contain segmented silhouette-like moving objects. Configuration of RCNN for depth maps generation is presented in this table. Leaky rectified linear units were used in two layers. As can be seen from table, nonlinear activation functions are used at each level, where the GRU cells are not applied. Thus, overlaying optical flow and send depth maps allows to detect foreground moving objects instead of creating silence maps. In addition, optical flow maps contain segmented silhouette-like moving objects. Keeping small boundaries of moving objects is the main problem of interpolation, based on conventional motion estimates and deep neural networks. This problem is important for Gait recognition due to its nature. Linear interpolation, when calculating the average of the two frames, cannot provide accurate results. We create human gait patterns in such a way that the inputs of a deep neural network are optical maps with detected foreground moving objects. We can consider consecutive optical flow maps as transformed original frames and interpolate optical flow maps. The deep neural network architecture for motion interpolation is similar to known UNet architecture, where the encoder using conv LSTM layers and the encoder and decoder are based on conv2D layers. Another feature is the use of four consecutive maps M1, M2, M3, and M4 when interpolating only one intermediate maps. Thus, CNN is not trained to generate an intermediate maps, but is trained to correct moving regions. The CNN architecture is depicted in figure. The interpolated map is a result of concatenation of the CNN output and averaged M2 and M3 layers. TUM Gait is a walking human database created by Technische Universität of München. This database simultaneously contains RGB videos with resolution 640 on 480 pixels, depths 16 bit per pixels, and audio with more than 300 people in different variations. This is one of the largest to date. Videos of dataset have length of 2 to 3 seconds as a piece at a frame rate of 30 fps. All subjects were captured from the side view in different conditions. 10 videos per subject, including 6 normal walks, 2 walks in coordinate shows, and 2 walks with a backpack. Examples of videos frames are shown in figure. Dataset was divided into training and test subjects at a ratio of 80:20 respectively. Dataset was also extended by mirrored copies in horizontal dimension to improve robustness to motion detection. Neural network for motion interpolation was trained by transfer learning on this dataset. We compared the results of gait recognition without and with motion interpolation. Using the traditional skeleton-based methods, namely the gait energy cycle (GAI), gait variance image (GVI), skeleton energy image (CIM), and skeleton variance image (SVIM). Normal, core in the back, and core in the shoes and with the shoes samples were selected from the TUM gait dataset. Table presents the result of gait recognition. The mean values of gait recognition without motion interpolation were taken from literature. As can be seen from table, the best result with the proposed motion interpolation were achieved for cases with care in the back, and better results were obtained for cases with different shoes. Obviously, a low frame rate greatly degrades any algorithm of gait recognition, especially model 3. In this work, we interpolate optical flow maps by pre-creating and concatenating them with send depth maps. Our approach requires less information for motion processing, because only moving foreground regions are analyzed, and at the same time provides rich data for gait recognition. The experiments with model-free silhouette methods based on our interpolated optical flow maps show better results compared to traditional binary silhouette methods. Thank you for attention. Goodbye.